Okay, so now we're going to discuss the difference between a refund and a void. So let's go ahead and run a sale to start, just so we have something in the machine to adjust and actually void out. So we're just going to run a quick $1 sale. I'm not going to choose a tip here, so we can just bypass that. Other bypass, there we go, and bypass this one. And let's go ahead and insert our card to run this transaction for $1. We'll wait for the machine to finish. Oh, we'll go ahead and bypass our server ID as well. There we go, please remove card. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna cancel that second receipt just to save some paper. Okay, so now we have a good $1 transaction processed in on the A920. That $1 transaction is sitting in the batch right now. So what we can do is, let's say that same customer comes back in, 10 minutes later and says, hey, I actually don't need this. Can I get my $1 transaction back? Well, what we can do, since it was just run today, 5-10 minutes ago, an hour ago, the main important thing is that we have not settled that transaction. It's still sitting inside this batch. What we can do is actually void that sale. And the way we do that is just hit the void sale function right here. And we can type in transaction number 1, and it brings up that $1 transaction, and we can hit confirm. And again, we can confirm past the server ID. And now that transaction has been voided, and now it's essentially as if it didn't happen. They're still gonna have that pending transaction. The customer's still gonna see the pending transaction of $1 on their bank account, but they're never actually gonna have that money removed out of their bank. It's just gonna be sitting as a pending transaction for a few days until the bank releases it. And that money will never actually leave the customer's account and go into the business's account. Now, a refund is different. A refund, let's say that same merchant or that same customer came in and did a $1 sale. So again, we'll do a $1 sale. We'll bypass this and bypass that. And let's insert our card for $1 and bypass our server ID. And okay, so we have a good $1 transaction in there now. And we'll cancel that customer copy of the receipt. Okay, so we've got a good $1 transaction in the machine right now. So now let's say it's the end of the day, end of the night, you're ready to close up shop. We're gonna hit function and batch close, and we'll hit okay and send that $1 transaction onto our bank account, onto the business's bank account. There we go, batch successfully closed, and that $1 transaction is on its way out of the customer's account and into ours, the business's account. So now let's say that same customer comes back in and says, hey, I actually don't need this thing. Can I get my $1 transaction back? And now it's already been settled. We can't void it. There's nothing to void here. If I try to look up this transaction, it's going to tell me that there's nothing in there. No sales, because we've already settled it. There's nothing left for us to void. So now at that point, we have to issue a refund. The way that we do that is under credit and return, and we'll just type in a $1 transaction and put the money back onto the card. And it behaves just like any other transaction that you run on the PAX A920. You type in a dollar amount, how much you want to put onto the card, and the transaction is completed, and that money goes back onto the customer's bank account, customer's card. So that's the difference between a refund and a void. A void is something that you can just erase out of the batch, pretend it didn't even happen, just delete it out of the batch so the money never gets moved from the customer's account into the business's account. But a refund or a return is what you have to do after the money has already been settled out, after that transaction has already been batched out of this machine. It's already coming out of the customer's bank account and on its way to the business's bank account. Then you have to issue a refund or a return to that customer to get their money back in their account.